Welcome to a new deep dive. Today, we're pulling insights from a really specific corner of healthcare marketing. We're diving into an article you shared with us from UpMedico. They're a healthcare marketing agency.
That's the one.
And the piece is titled 6 Steps to Turn Leads into Patients for Your Clinic.
Yeah, that's right. And what's really interesting here, it's not just, a list of tactics.
Right.
It actually lays out this, what they call a proven system, like a proper blueprint, step by step, just for clinics.
A system. Okay, so the goal is taking someone who's just shown interest online.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And guiding them right through the whole process.
To actually booking and then becoming, a loyal patient.
Precisely. That's the aim.
Okay, so our mission in this deep dive is basically to unpack that system. We want to get to the heart of its core principles, figure out how it promises not just growth, but sustainable growth.
Yeah, sustainable is key.
And crucially, how it aims to do all this without completely, swamping a clinic's already busy team.
Absolutely. And the article kicks off with a pretty compelling result, actually.
Oh, yeah.
It mentions one clinic, they implemented this exact system.
Okay.
And saw a remarkable 47% increase in appointment rates.
Wow, 47%.
Yeah, and get this, within just 90 days.
90 days. Okay, let's definitely unpack that. I mean, that kind of jump is huge for any clinic, right? For the bottom line, for capacity.
It really is.
So let's walk through this system step by step. We'll pull out the most interesting and useful bits from the source material you shared.
Sounds good.
What's the sort of ultimate goal this whole system is built around? What did the article say?
Well, the stated goal they outline is pretty ambitious, but it's clear.
Okay.
It's about building a patient-centered, replicable system, one that effectively turns those, initial ad leads into booked appointments and then into loyal patients. And a key part is doing it efficiently.
Right, without overwhelming the team.
Exactly, that's critical.
Yeah, that efficiency part feels absolutely vital for a busy clinic. So what's the sort of foundation, the core principle everything else hangs on?
They really hammer this home, actually. It comes up again and again.
Right.
Every single interaction, every step has to actively build 3 things: trust, empathy, and speed.
Trust, empathy, and speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They position those as like the non-negotiable pillars for the whole system, not just nice-to-haves.
That makes sense, especially in healthcare. Those really resonate. And there was something else foundational they mentioned right up front about compliance.
Oh, absolutely. And it's paramount. The source is crystal clear on this.
Right.
Full GDPR and IBACI compliance is baked into the entire system.
So not an afterthought.
Definitely not. They're treated as fundamental. I mean, these are the regulations that protect patient privacy, data security.
Essential for building that trust, right?
Totally. Part of the care. You're dealing with really sensitive info.
Makes perfect sense. Okay, so if compliance and trust, empathy, speed are the foundation, how does the system actually start guiding a potential patient? What's step 1?
It starts with visualizing the whole flow. They call it mapping the patient journey.
Okay, mapping the journey.
Yeah. So high level, it looks something like this. Someone sees, say, a Google or Meta ad.
Right.
They click through to a specific landing page. That's where the lead is captured.
Okay, standard enough so far.
Yeah.
Ad, landing page, lead. Where does the healthcare specific part really kick in?
It's in the immediacy of the follow-up. Right after that lead comes in,
Yeah.
boom, an instant auto reply.
Auto reply. Okay, like email.
Usually SMS or WhatsApp, they suggest, for speed. But that's just the trigger. The crucial next step is a human follow-up.
A real person.
Yes, a real person. And here's the kicker: within 10 minutes.
Wow, 10 minutes for a human follow-up. That is incredibly fast.
It is, and that ties directly back to that speed principle,
Yeah,
right?
I see that connection now.
Quick responses signal attentiveness, that you care. So after that initial contact, there's a qualification call,
Okay.
which ideally leads to the appointment booked. Then you've got pre-appointment reminders, and finally, post-visit follow-up.
That's quite a comprehensive flow.
It is, and the article really stresses that seeing this whole path visually, mapping it out, that's the essential starting point.
Got it. Visualize the journey first. So once you've got that map, where does the system say to focus next?
Step 2. Step 2 is all about that landing page, creating one that builds trust instantly.
Instantly. Okay.
And the article points this out as like a major leaky spot for clinics,
Mm-hmm.
where they often lose people.
Why is that?
Because, the landing pages can feel cold or confusing or sometimes just too salesy.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. If I'm looking for help with something sensitive, the last thing I want is a hard sell or a confusing page.
Exactly. So the article gets really specific about what does work,
Hmm.
how to make it feel trustworthy and empathetic right away.
Okay, like what? Give me some examples.
Sure. They talk about having a clear, outcome-driven headline, something that speaks directly to the patient's hope.
Hmm.
The example they give is, regain your confidence in intimacy expert ED treatments, confidential and available today.
Okay. Clear benefit, confidential, available now. Got it.
Right. It hits the key points. Then other things include a friendly photo of the actual doctor.
Puts a face to the name.
Exactly. Reassuring. Plus, having the full clinic address visible adds, instant credibility.
Makes it feel real.
Yeah. And the actual writing, the copy. It needs to be
Mhm.
compassionate, easy to understand, no jargon, and really address the patient's likely fears and hopes.
Makes sense.
And keep the form really simple, like just name, phone, maybe a brief note on symptoms. That's it.
Keep it low friction for someone who might be feeling vulnerable.
Precisely. Other things they suggest are adding a WhatsApp button.
For discreet messaging.
Yeah, gives people an option if they prefer not to call right away. And integrating a Google Reviews widget.
Social proof.
Authentic social proof right there on the page. And of course, a super clear privacy statement. Something like 100% confidential, trusted medical professionals only.
Reinforcing that compliance and trust piece again.
Constantly. It threads through everything. So it's really about transparency and signaling legitimate, trustworthy care.
Yeah, and they had a pro tip for this step, didn't they?
They did. Basically, it boils down to this. In healthcare marketing, transparency builds trust way faster, way more effectively than any slick promotion ever could.
That feels like a really solid principle. Okay, so you've got this great landing page. It's capturing leads effectively. What happens when a human team member actually steps in? That's step 3, right? The qualification call.
Right. And this step, the article really emphasizes a crucial shift in mindset.
Okay.
The staff making this call, they are not salespeople. That's not their role here.
So what is their role?
To listen, to reassure, to support the potential patient. The article frames it as offering a lifeline, not making a sales pitch.
A lifeline. I like that framing. So how does that actually sound in practice? Did they give examples?
Yeah, they provide a sample opening for the call that really sets that empathetic tone right away.
Let's hear it.
It goes something like, "Good morning, Name. This is staff Name from Dr. Name's clinic. I saw you reached out. How are you feeling today?"
Starting with, how are you feeling? Not, what's your issue? That's a subtle but important difference.
It really is. It centers the conversation immediately on the patient's well-being.
So after that opening, what kind of questions do they suggest asking?
The questions are designed to understand the situation without being, overly intrusive. Things like, how long have you been experiencing this issue? Or have you tried any treatments before?
Getting some context.
Exactly. And then asking directly, are you seeking discreet professional support? To confirm what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And then gently moving towards logistics. What's generally easier for you for appointments mornings or evenings?
So it sounds like it's about genuinely seeing if the clinic is the right fit and kind of easing them towards booking if it is.
That's the idea.
Mm.
And they suggest wrapping up the call clearly and reassuringly.
How so?
Something like, perfect, we have a spot available on day at time. I'll send you all the details and a reminder 24 hours beforehand. We're really looking forward to welcoming you.
Nice. Confirms everything, reinforces that welcome, and this approach actually gets results, the article mentioned.
Oh, absolutely. They tied a specific client success story to implementing this qualification call method.
Yeah.
It helped jump their lead to appointment rate. So people who called actually booking from 40%
Okay.
all the way up to 68%.
Wow, 40 to 68%. That's a massive improvement. It really shows the power of that supportive human connection.
Absolutely.
But okay, a 68% conversion rate means potentially a lot more calls, more booked appointments. How do you manage all that communication without completely, burning out the clinic staff?
Well, that leads perfectly into step 4, humanized automation.
Humanized automation sounds like a balancing act.
It is. This is where technology comes in to support the human touch, not replace it.
Okay.
The article talks about using automation tools like features in WhatsApp Business or other CRM systems to handle the repetitive stuff, ensure that crucial speed.
Right, the 10-minute response thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But doing it in a way that still feels personal and empathetic.
So we're not talking about cold robotic messages here.
No, definitely not. The examples they give are key.
Like what?
Okay, so right after someone submits that form, Maybe an immediate SMS goes out. Hi, Names, thanks for reaching out to Dr. Names Clinic. Someone from our team will contact you very shortly. You're in safe hands.
Okay, it's friendly, uses their name, sets expectations. The emoji helps too.
Right. Or maybe an initial WhatsApp. Hi, Name. This is Assistant Name from Dr. Names Clinic. We received your message. Would you like to chat here, or would it be easier to book a quick call? Everything remains 100% confidential.
Giving options, reinforcing confidentiality again. I see.
Yeah, acknowledges them quickly, maintains that caring tone.
What if the person doesn't reply right away to that first automated message?
Good question. The system accounts for that with gentle, automated follow-ups.
Okay.
So maybe after 15 minutes with no reply, something like, just checking in quickly, we're holding some potential appointment spots. Let us know if you'd like to chat when you have a moment.
A gentle nudge.
Yeah. And if there's still no reply after, say, 24 hours, an even softer message. We completely understand that reaching out about health concerns can be a big step. Just wanted to let you know we're here whenever you might be ready and happy to answer any questions. No pressure at all.
Persistent, but still really respectful of their space and potential hesitation.
That's the goal. And this step 4, also highlights a really crucial piece of research the source mentions.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, a 2025 study, or one they cite as 2025, found that responding to patient inquiries within that 10-minute window triples the likelihood of securing an appointment compared to slower responses.
Triples. Just by being fast.
That's what the source claims the research found. It really drives home why that initial speed, often enabled by this humanized automation, is so critical for actually converting that lead.
Wow. Okay. That stat alone makes the case for speed. So, all right, the automation helps get the appointment booked. How does the system then make sure people actually show up? That must be step 5, the appointment reminders.
Exactly. Step 5, the appointment reminder flow. And the purpose here is pretty straightforward, but absolutely essential.
Reduce no-shows.
Bingo. Every no-show is lost revenue, wasted time for the clinician. It's a major issue for clinics.
Totally. So what does the source recommend for reminders that actually work?
They suggest a pretty simple but effective flow. Basically 2 key reminders.
Okay.
The first one goes out 24 hours before the appointment, something like, hi, Name, just a friendly reminder. You're booked with Dr. Name tomorrow at time. The clinic address is here. Link. We're looking forward to meeting you.
Clear. Has the key info. The address link is helpful. What's the second one?
The second one comes closer to the time, about 2 hours before.
Okay. They might say, excited to see you today at time. Feel free to reply to this message if you need anything or have any questions about getting here.
That second one feels a bit more personal, offers that last-minute support channel.
Yeah, it adds another layer, reinforces the idea that the clinic is accessible and cares. It's less like a clinical notification and more like a helpful check-in.
Right. Okay, so reminders handled. What about after the actual visit? That brings us to the final step. Step 6, post-visit follow-up. Why is this last step so important, according to the article?
They argue pretty strongly that this is where clinics really win long-term loyalty. It's where you solidify the relationship.
Beyond just the first appointment.
Exactly. Following up after the visit shows patients you genuinely care about their experience, their recovery, their outcome, not just about getting them through the door that one time.
Takes sense. It improves retention.
Dramatically, according to the source. And it also encourages positive word of mouth, reviews, referrals, all that good stuff. Okay, so how do they suggest doing this post-visit follow-up? What does it look like?
They outline a kind of phased approach over a week or so.
Phased, okay.
First, about 24 hours after the visit, the focus is on getting feedback.
Asking about their experience.
Right, and they suggest making it easy, maybe linking directly to Google reviews.
Ah, smart.
Yeah, the example text is something like, we hope your visit was helpful and positive. If you have a moment and would like to leave an anonymous review about your experience, it really helps others who might be looking for similar support find hope too. Google review link.
Framing it as helping others. Nice touch. And it captures that valuable social proof. What happens next?
Then, maybe around 3 days later, they suggest a gentle approach to discussing potential next steps or further treatment options if relevant.
Gentle being the key word.
Absolutely. The example is, many patients find they see even better results over time with treatment plan A. Would you like some more information on whether that might be a good fit for you? Happy to provide it. No pressure at all.
That no pressure part feels crucial again for maintaining trust.
Totally. And then, maybe about a week out, 7 days later, it's about gently inviting referrals.
Yeah.
But again, handled very discreetly.
How so?
Something like,
Yeah.
We know talking about health can be sensitive, but we also offer a private, discreet referral process for friends or family who might benefit from our care, and we had a small thank you gift for introductions that lead to a booked appointment. Would you like the details?
So it covers the whole life cycle, really, from that first click right through to becoming a loyal patient who refers others. That's comprehensive.
It really aims to be.
The article also touched on how to measure if all this is working and the tools needed, right?
Yes, definitely. It lists out key metrics that clinics should track to see how healthy their lead-to-patient system is.
Like what sort of numbers?
They give target ranges, too, which is helpful. Things like the call-to-appointment rate, aiming for maybe 65–70%.
Okay.
The show-up rate, you want that high, ideally 85% or more.
Makes sense.
Then the appointment-to-treatment rate, that's people who book further treatment after their first visit, aiming for maybe 50–60%.
Right, showing their continuing care.
Exactly. And finally, the review conversion rate. How many patients actually leave a review after being asked, aiming for 30% or more?
Tracking those numbers would definitely show you where the system's working well and maybe where it needs tweaking.
Precisely. It gives you visibility into potential bottlenecks.
And what about the tools needed to actually do all this automation and tracking?
Yeah, the article provides recommendations there too, specifically mentioning tools suited for healthcare clinics. They group them into categories. CRM systems, that's your main hub for tracking interactions, managing the pipeline.
Customer relationship management. Got it.
Right. Then WhatsApp API providers for handling that automated messaging reliably. Booking systems, obviously. And specific review collection platforms.
And compliance is key for these tools too, I assume.
Absolutely. They emphasize choosing tools that are IPR or GDPR compliant, where applicable, reinforcing that foundational need for privacy and security throughout the technology you use.
Good. The specific tool names are in the source material if you want to check those out.
Exactly.
Okay, so pulling all these steps, the metrics, the tools, the principles together, what's the sort of core philosophy driving this whole system, according to UpMedico?
I think the central message, the real takeaway, is quite powerful. It's not just about doing all follow-up work manually.
Right.
It's about building a reliable system that does a lot of that heavy lifting for you, but always guided by those core principles we talked about.
Trust, empathy, speed.
Exactly. And the article really reiterates this isn't about hard selling or, manipulating people. It's fundamentally about building genuine, long-term trust and rapport with patients, starting right from that very first click online.
And that trust built on speed, empathy, and especially that bedrock of compliance is what ultimately fuels sustainable growth for the clinic.
That's precisely the argument. The whole system is designed with that full GDPR and HIPAA compliance integrated throughout. Because protecting patient privacy isn't optional, it's essential for building that trust in healthcare.
It sounds like the promise here, based on what you've shared from the source, is pretty significant then. It's moving beyond just, frantically trying to fill appointment slots and towards actually cultivating this thriving community of loyal patients, people who feel genuinely cared for, who trust the clinic, who are happy to refer others, and who come back for ongoing care.
That really is the ultimate goal. Presented a system that leads into a solid foundation for long-term clinic health and growth.
Fascinating stuff. Okay, so given this really profound emphasis we've discussed on trust, empathy, speed, and that strict regulatory compliance baked into this healthcare system, here's a final thought for you, the listener, to maybe mull over.
Right.
How might these principles, especially that intense, focus on building trust right from the first interaction and really prioritizing patient care over just a pure sales approach? How might that contrast with the typical marketing funnels you see in, say, other industries?
Interesting question.
And maybe what valuable lessons could those other industries potentially learn from healthcare's patient-centered approach when it comes to their own strategies for converting leads and maybe more importantly, building truly lasting customer relationships?